To maintain some weight on the knitting, I'm going to use triangular weight holders. And I'll put a couple of those on and put a weight on each one. And I'm going to put one in the middle and put a weight on that and remove these weights from the comb. I'm going to have to move these weights up all the time, and what I think I'll do is each time the pattern beeps because it's gone around again, I'll move the weights up. I did 450 rows to make the stole, and then I knitted 2 rows plain on the river only, which the easiest way to do it was just take all the needles out of work on the main bed after running the drop carriage. Now I'm going to change over to the waist yarn, and I'm going to knit about 10 rows. When I change over to the waist yarn, I'm going to allow enough yarn so that I can crochet off the machine with a crochet hook. Well, I have this long snake that I knitted, and it doesn't look like a stole yet, but let me do the finishing. And primarily, all I have to do at this point is crochet on both edges and kill this with a steamer or a steam iron. This is acrylic. I'm going to take the spring and bounce out of it, but I'm going to make it drapey. To finish each edge, I'm going to begin by single crocheting across. So I find the end stitches, they are the stitches that stand out with a little slim row of purple and then the black, which is the main yarn. So I go in the end stitch, and I'm just going to draw a loop through that end stitch, and then go in the second stitch, draw a loop through, yarn over and go through both. And I will do that across this row in each stitch, because I didn't do any kind of bind off, so I don't want this to unravel. Now it's time for me to block the shawl, which at this point just looks like a big curled up worm. What I want to do is flatten this. I'm going to use steam, and it's acrylic. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to steam it until it's completely flat and smooth and drapey. So what I do is I spread it out on a towel. I have this towel on a bed, and I'm just going to unroll it. I use a stand steamer, but you could do this with a steam iron. You just have to hold it above the knitting as you work. I've got lots and lots of water in my stand steamer and plenty of steam coming out already. And I'm just going to begin by holding the steamer above this and starting to gently uncurl it with my fingers. And you see when I lay the steamer down how it just unrolls. Now whatever shape I steam this into is what I'm going to get. So I'm going to take my time and use my fingers to shape the edges as square as I can get them. It's really not necessary to pin this out, but you do have to patiently steam it. And I'm going to go ahead and kill this and get a shot of it really truly flattened. In fact, after I have it pretty much killed, I'm still going to push it across like this to open out the lacy stitches. So here's the stole with about half of it already blocked and, as I call it, killed. And you can see that this sideways blocking, this stroking it sideways with the steamer head, is really bringing out the lace in the pattern. And then I'll just move it down and get the other end, and that will complete the shawl. The only other work I had to do on it was to hide some ends, and because it's black, it was hard to see anything, let alone have trouble with the ends showing. I just put it under a really bright light and wove the ends in. If you want your shawl to be furry, you can roll a natural fiber hairbrush over it and make it fluff out a little. Now, you don't want to overdo that. A little goes a long way. And note that I'm not actually brushing, I'm rolling, just to make the process as gentle as possible. Another thing that works pretty well for this is a roller lint brush. But again, you want to be very, very gentle. Now I put my arm in it, and I just want to illustrate the beautiful drapey fabric that resulted from steaming it in this way. So now I have a lovely gift for somebody, and it was pretty easy to make. Very pleased with it, and I'll probably make it in some additional colors and yarns. Here I've hung the shawl over a door, and I'm just holding it with my arm underneath it so that you can see the lovely lacy drapey fabric. And let me bring it up so that you can see what a nice edge one row of single crochet made.